Hello and good evening for this Wednesday, April 17th, 2024. We have just finished watching the 8th episode of Survivor 46 titled Hide and Seek. But we're just getting started here on Super Mated Brothers Podcasting, a live stream here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Dave Mader, joined with Jaemeel Robinson once again. Hello, sir.
Hello.
And good evening. And we're expecting Josh Foster to join us for this breakdown tonight. He's just dealing with some issues, stomach issues, he reports. And so
probably another Pop-Tart. No, Pop-Tart. Was it Pizza Pocket?
Could be a Pizza Pocket. We'll have to get the whole scoop, if you will, when Josh is able to come in. But for the moment, it would just be Jaemeel and I, and we will talk all about this in an episode. Nothing happened, right? Like this was kind of a nothing affair. I'm not quite so sure. Of course, this is live stream. You can comment and you can and let us know what you think. Ask questions. Sam is saying he's fuming over what's happened here.
I'm expecting Jeff to show up. This seems like an episode Jeff would just absolutely come on and be like, guys,
if Jeff happened to watch this episode tonight, which I don't know if he did or he didn't, but if he did watch it, yes, I would. I was thinking, especially this tribal council here tonight, Jaemeel. This was, pretty bad. Ultimately, yeah,
this is probably one of the worst episodes of Survivor I've ever seen from a gameplay standpoint. I cannot think. And Sam, I disagree. Sam put hashtag justice for Tevin. I can't think of a single person in this game that played well this episode. It just seemed like everyone was like bungling the pooch in this one. Just totally gave it up. It should have been a skip and just say Tevin just decided to leave. I would have preferred that instead of actually seeing this episode.
So is it just hard for you to watch bad gameplay? Or even if it's good TV?
It's not even bad gameplay. It just seems like they couldn't help themselves in making the worst possible decision. Like none of it made any sense. And I have to question every single person that was on the show tonight as to what are they trying to win? Like, are they trying to make it more harder than it needs to be? I couldn't understand it at all.
I think that it was hard to follow. I don't know if that was on purpose or just what the editors had to give us based on what they had to work with. It's hard to follow. Q, this guy, what can we say about Q in particular? He is a wild card. He he comes into this tribal wanting to quit. He's hard to watch, but on the other hand, he's not. Okay, before we get in too deep, we got Josh Foster coming in live. Hello and good evening, sir.
Are you coming in hot?
Sir. Hello, sirs.
Hello. Are you coming in hot with a hot take on this? Are you angry right now, Foster, or are you more? This was sort of a whatever episode, or maybe something different. Where are you sitting? Where are you sitting with this?
I think that this is one of those episodes that everyone's gonna have their very own different opinion, because for me personally, I really, really still want Liz out as well as Venus.
But
so,
but what? Like I don't understand what Q did. Okay, I feel like there's still some underlying gameplay there, or whatever, right? With him saying that. I want to hear the tea. Okay.
But this is the second time he's done this. He's done this before, where he's like, vote me out. And his tribe was like, what is going on with this dude?
It doesn't make sense because it seems random. Like it's kind of spontaneous. Like it doesn't, and he's not talking to anybody about it either. Like he's not like, there's no like confessional or whatever. There's no like what he's thinking.
He is honestly the worst type of player. And I say that because the dude has tools. He has tools to play this game. But he also has a overinflated sense of self where he thinks honestly that he is the hero in this story, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna fall on the sword for everyone, and I'm gonna be remembered as this dude, right? He always thinks I'm gonna I'm gonna surpass everyone. He sounds like who was it that said that they can beat Ozzy's record of 2 hours?
Oh, Tevin.
Tevin said he could beat, and then he immediately starts to drift down.
Yeah,
Like,
after he was telling us about him being a peacock and what kind of bird he would be or whatever. Yeah, like this is an interesting cast, I gotta say. Like I think it's
They're
a
very
memorable
vocal.
season. Very vocal, very interesting. Like it's like the social dynamics, the emotional dynamics are ever changing. It's I wouldn't say that this is like a season of the best players ever, but that's okay. I don't really care. Messi or maybe the better. I don't know. Like it's because this is season 46, and it getting more sophisticated isn't necessarily what I crave in a given episode. I don't want people to be deliberately stupid, but if they just be themselves, but okay, but Q, okay, like this guy, I don't think he does he really believe his own BS? Because if he does, okay, then I just kind of put up my hands and go, okay, well, that's just Q, I guess. But I think really what was going on here was that he just wanted to quit, or I think he got to the tribal here, which is like a set, and I think kind of takes you out of the element of like, hey, I've been living on this beach for days now, not a lot to eat. I'm hungry. I'm tired. And this is like, I'm this close to a hotel room and a shower and a meal. And I think that that's really what Q was sort of getting at here tonight. I think he could have easily been voted out of this game and he would have been fine. I think he just didn't care anymore. But obviously the tribe was like, no, that's not working for us. And there was probably some other dynamic to it where they said he just doesn't want to be on the bottom. So even though he voted here for Tevin, and I guess he just maybe didn't get his way. This might have been a little bit of a pouty kind of a thing too, about just him being in a bad mood coming into it, and sort of combined with what I'm saying, he's like, whatever, maybe I just want to quit the game,
I disagree. I think he wanted to control his own narrative, and the moment that narrative wasn't seemingly a winning one, he's
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'm going to leave this game. I'm going to decide to leave this game. And they said, no, we're playing our game. We're not playing your game, right? Which has practically been what's been happening. And
I don't think. Do we really disagree here, Jaemeel? Because I don't think we do. I think we're kind of saying the same thing. That he just like this was a little bit of a fit he threw here in one way or another, and maybe a wrench and all that. But I don't think he's like, I want to go out here because I'm just tired of these people not playing the game. They need to step up and actually play. And if I'm not here, I might inspire.
He wants them to play a certain way, and people don't necessarily play Survivor the same way. He doesn't like the idea of goats getting near the end. So that's why he wants to get rid of Liz and get rid of Venus and the people he deems as worthy, such as Maria, right? Needs to stay in this game. Tiff, when she rebels against that idea or shows any indication of not following those plans, he's like, she's excommunicado. She's got to be gone, right? And it's just not even talking it out with her. He'd even like given an indication. He's like, I'll let you hear what you say. She voices her opinion. He's like, okay. And then he's like, I'm done with her. No back and forth, no communication. It's just
never feel bad for Sam. Feel bad for Liz, Sam. Never feel bad for her.
You're not a fan, right, Foster, of Liz?
Not at all. She's so full of herself. She's not that great.
She's got a lot of cockiness, and I think she would admit that. She's got confidence. She shares my birthday along with Jameel's mom, March 18th. And we have this, connection, of course, where as a Pisces, not just as Pisces, but of course as sharing zodiac twins, if you will. I'm okay with Liz so far, even though I don't think I would really like her, if I had to, socialize with her. But that's okay. I kind of like her as a character in the season, and really like what she wanted tonight was to get out Tevin, and that's what happened. And I don't think is Liz really playing a bad game. Like, if you want to look at it objectively, like. I don't think so. Like, I think you can argue she's not going to win, like, favorite player and get that Sia money. But, I don't think that's how she's really playing here. I think she kind of maybe had a good night here, in terms of how this went.
At this point, she could get some Sia money.
Yeah.
If
just
she does something spicy near the end and gets eliminated, absolutely. I don't think Tevin's going to get that. Tevin went out too early to get some Sia money.
The last two people voted out are Tevin and Soda, who Liz, I don't think was really too fond of anymore. I think that she had been working with them on Nami, and she's like, these two are just whatever, and she got rid of them. Like she didn't really have the option to get out Hunter here tonight. And I think Venus, for most people, like how Tiffany describes it in this episode, is a nuisance, but not a threat. Right. So why does it like nobody's really going to ever work with Venus? Venus is a vote, and her vote will become significant down the line on whoever she's going to be influenced by, if anybody. But somebody would be smart just to pick her up.
But from Q's perspective, that is that power earned, or is that power bestowed to her because they decided to, eat powerful players and leave these bottom feeders so that their vote means more when they're playing a game that Q doesn't necessarily respect?
Well, why does it matter if Q respects it or not? Like, what? Like, do they have to earn his approval?
I'm not necessarily saying that Q is right. I'm just saying from Q's perspective, Liz is one where she's not going to be a player that he respects in the end, right? If I was Liz, I would want Q to stay in the game. I don't want him in the jury to poison the jury about a certain type of player.
Yeah.
Right? Because he has this mentality, like he's like he has a thought process and he's gonna stick with it no matter what.
Well, yeah, and like if Q had not pulled this move here at Tribal Council tonight, I think I would have even been defending his game a little bit more in this podcast, because I felt like, okay, well, he's erratic and he's all over the place, and yeah, he's hard to watch on TV, but he's kind of creating this chaos element that I kind of enjoy, and it's not, and it could work out for him, if the pieces sort of land the right way. But then this move tonight was just so dumb and so unnecessary, and just sort of he lost so much credibility, I think, tonight, that there's no way he could win. He might not get voted out just because of that. Like, he might become a goat now here, like Venus, a pariah who nobody really wants to work with. You see Tiffany yelling at him in the preview for the next episode, how pissed she is at him. But on the other hand, like I was like, well, this guy is all over the place. He was talking, that whole hide and seek thing tonight was hilarious, where Q was like, oh, well, this guy, Benny's hiding too well in the bushes there, and Maria was too creative with this part, and Hunter, well, he's just something else. And by the end of it, like, basically Q said he wanted to get out everybody, and I was like, you can't get them all out at once. Q, I get that they're all threats, and yes, you have to get rid of all of them or in some way or the other to win the game, but slow down.
But once again, he's like, it's straight his MO, where he thinks he's a character in this story about his life, and he's like, all these people are doing this stuff, and it's all clues about how I should get them out and how I should beat them. Like, it isn't just hide and seek; it's a story, or it's a stop along the way to his road to success. He's probably already sold the film rights to his win in his mind. Like, that's the type of dude that
he's trying to sell Q skirts. He's got a whole merchandise line coming out. Are you in on the Q skirt, Foster?
No, the squirt.
The squirt.
The squirt. That's what it is, right?
The Q skirt.
Definitely not. Definitely. That's a double definitely for me after Jaemeel just emphasized what it is.
The squirt.
The squirt. Yeah, I don't patent pending. It's I don't know. Yeah, like, he was entertaining me in this episode. This episode was undoubtedly about Q in a lot of ways, you know, so much about him and that hide and seek sequence, which, you know, it can't be the first time that, like, you know, contestants have played hide and seek out there when you got not a lot to do, but the most time it had ever probably been analyzed in such an in-depth way. You know, like, does being a good hide and seek player make you a good survivor player necessarily?
No. Okay, I'll ask you another question. I'll reverse it. Do you think Tiff cared about hide and seek enough that she would remove her buff?
No.
Exactly.
Right.
She was like, "This is dumb. I'm gonna get eliminated as quickly as possible. I'm gonna wear this red ass buff so I can get voted out, or I can get picked out, so I don't have to keep hiding in an uncomfortable, awkward position for like however long Q had it going on for."
Right. Oh, like, I'm sorry. We just get a shot here with Hunter up in the hiding up there in the treehouse there. That was
Which
pretty good.
this episode did not do this man any favors at all. Like,
Hunter?
yes, I could not imagine anyone going, you know what? I'm going to keep, if Hunter doesn't win immunity, I'm going to keep him in the game. The dude should immediately be voted out if I was any player in this game. Because anytime,
100%.
like, he is not keeping a low profile. Like, Q, he needs to keep Q in this game because Q is the perfect, like, meat shield, or I should say smoke bomb, or smoke the
Screen?
ability, well, smoke screen, anything to distract people away from the fact that I'm just killing it in these challenges.
Yeah, I hear you. Like, okay, well, let's, yeah, like, there's a lot to cover in these 90-minute episodes, and I'm never sure if we really need to go back to the beginning or what. But like, there was obviously that whole hide and seek thing, which took up a big chunk of the beginning, and the different dynamics. A lot of it this episode was about the Six and this alliance that now invited Charlie into it. Like, that now that Tim was gone, they bring in Charlie, and Charlie's like, "Oh yeah, I'd love to be in this alliance," which Maria's happy to have him part of now.
Yeah.
But then he's like, "But then I'm just at the bottom of this alliance, and these people are just a threat to make for me to win in the end." And I was like, Charlie's correct. Charlie's assessment and read on this, I think he's actually playing a good game, Charlie.
Do you think that, were you angry that Venus from the GTA was not part of the Six?
She actually, yeah, that would be fitting if she was part of the Six. However, I'm not offended by it. You know, Venus is like, Venus, what are you gonna do? Like, she kind of lives in a fantasy world, Venus, and so you.
But a lot of these players are.
Well, more so than most, I think. I think that Venus is just like socially difficult to work with, and I think like they just have written her off largely, you know, fairly or unfairly. But I think Tiff's assessment was kind of correct. But then Tiff's like, I want to get out Maria, and then this ended up creating the whole thing with the Six. And then, well, if you go against the Six, then you're going to be the first voted out of the Six, just like Tim was. I'm like, what is this? Like, there's only 9 of you left, right? Or like, how, like, an alliance is 6? Is this Big Brother? Basically, you know?
What, honestly, what Q was looking for, and you hear
Yeah.
it all the time in Big Brother, he was looking for a reason. And the moment that Tiff gave him a reason, he's like, "Well, we got to vote her out. We got a reason. She wants to get rid of Maria. So
Yeah,
I have my
that
reason."
part was hard to watch. That be for me because, like, well, I'm like, if you don't want to the 6 trying to vote out the 6, and then you just say we have to vote out this person, then you're doing the exact same thing. You're just mad about 10 seconds ago. It
But
should be like,
he has a reason.
there's
He has a
you can
reason.
you can make up so many different reasons, you know, and like, and ultimately, Q needs to have a nap. You know, that's where I'm at with this guy.
But he, like, Foster, you have to agree. If, like, me and you were on the same tribe, right? And I say something that you
Wait.
disagree with.
Are we in an alliance on the same tribe?
Yes, let's assume we're in an alliance as
They
well.
better be on alliance on the same tribe. Okay, I've worked. I've known you for years, Jaemeel. Jeez. Okay, continue.
Okay. And I say something that you disagree with, right? You should take me okay. For a second there, I thought it was Jeff coming in. You should pull me aside and go, "Hey, Jaemeel, man, I don't know what's wrong with you because I disagree. That's not a good plan, right? I'm supposed to be your plus one. I'm supposed to be your plus one. So therefore, you're partially responsible for me. So you should talk to me, set me straight, right? You brought me
I
into
just
this life.
I don't understand why Q kind of has these moments where it's like him and only him, and it's not just thinking about himself. It's like he's it's and it's not just about it's about him. It's about like he's the only one there. Like he's doing it alone. Like it's him against nobody. Like it's just him. Like, I don't know how else to say it.
I wonder if he was like he was into like Green Day when he was younger, and he's just singing like he's by himself and he's just singing Boulevard of Broken Dreams right, to himself. With like
Maybe
a hand
he
over
doesn't seem like a
over
Green Day type, but maybe that's his music
with his accent.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate because I think, as Dave said it earlier, and I think I didn't comment then, but like I would have had definitely a different kind of opinion of Q's game, if you will, going into this podcast. Outside of that tribal council, right? Like it was very unorthodox, very on a whim, if you will, right? Like it didn't seem natural.
But you saw so many players wanting to almost like they were almost gravitating towards Q. They were frustrated by Q and they were finding him erratic. But you saw that like they weren't trying to get him out. And if anything, like players like Maria were like, okay, well, this is kind of what Q wants to do. We have to kind of factor that in. He wants to work with me. He'll be loyal. He seems like he's a very loyal player because he's trying to, have this narrative of we have to be loyal to the six until, of course, we want to vote out one of the six. And now we're just down to 5 or 4 or whatever the hell it ends up being. But I think that like at least that part was working for him. But then I don't know, he plays himself too much, where like, okay, let's talk about the challenge, because I think that this was interesting here with the whole, it's the old good old you got to go here on the poles and hold yourself up on the pole for as long as possible. Hunter ends up winning this, but that's not even really the thing I wanted to talk about
Did
first.
he win this, or did he casually just have a fun excursion on a pole?
Well, he didn't. I don't think he really pushed himself too hard here. I think what did it go, like 20 minutes, because he ultimately beats Charlie here in the final 2. But let's talk about the rice deal that Jeff presents here, because he wants 4 people to sit out of the challenge, and in order to get the bag of rice. And I think they only get 2 of them, right? Is it only Liz and Q who will volunteer?
And then Charlie was going to be the 3rd if they can find a 4th, but they couldn't find a 4th in time.
And then Liz and Q end up going out in 20 seconds in this challenge. Now, of course, Charlie, he almost won this thing. So it kind of would have almost been silly for him to set this out for a bag of rice.
But you understand why Liz did what she did, right?
Yeah.
Liz, even though I disagree with a lot that she does, she's playing a Baelish game, right?
Okay.
Chaos is a ladder, and she's using it to climb up to the top, right? So
okay, I see. Littlefinger.
Yes.
Game of Thrones. I got you.
And because it's not like she's gonna beat Q or Hunter, right? But like, who's looking at getting rid of Liz?
I don't know why people aren't.
No,
They don't see her as a threat.
They don't.
But she's not in like the alliances either, right? Like
she doesn't need to be.
Yeah, clearly
she's
she doesn't
hiding in plain sight.
Right, because there's somebody else to get out. Like even Kenzie is why isn't she like considered? And obviously, I think a lot of players would love to get out of Venus, but it never seems important enough. And it's going to seem even less important as they get into the end here.
Dave, are we going to get a final 3 of Liz, Venus, and Kenzie? Final 3.
Well, is that the worst possible scenario?
I think with a tribal council or a jury that is just ultimately so angry at them that they let them slide through. Oh, that would be juicy.
Yeah. I think that like 3 like sort of unlikable. Imagine Q's there at the end. You know,
Q
I
doesn't
think
win in that scenario.
I don't know. Okay, so let's get Q, Venus, and
Liz,
I don't
Liz.
know, Liz. Okay, that's your final three. Who wins?
Liz,
Q.
no,
Q wins over Liz.
no way.
I don't know. Guys. Like,
what challenge did he win?
We haven't seen the rest of the season yet, Jaemeel.
Yeah,
So
but like we can imagine. Let's imagine he wins something. I guess.
Okay, he wins one or
And
two.
maybe
challenges.
she does too.
I think that the way that Q presents himself is a lot greater than the way that Venus and Liz presents themselves to the jury. Like I understand that like they're none of them are really physical threats. Well, Q is physical threat, but I don't know about the challenges. We haven't seen necessarily that next that Survivor challenge. What
Is he a physical threat? Like
no. Like I want to start. Let me rephrase that. He's an athletic threat. If you want to say it, if you want to put a different term on it, right? Because like
now when it comes to hanging onto a pole up in the this challenge,
or holding onto a ball.
But once again, I still think that like it's not that we may not get it, but I think that there's there's a reason behind every decision that he makes, right? And he tells himself to do this, so like jump off the pole, like it's not, you know what I mean? Like he's doing certain things, and it doesn't seem like it's just for show. Like there's like he's doing it for reasons, maybe not just for himself, but for like other things down the road or for other people. Like it's different. It's complicated. I don't know how else to explain
I
it.
think you're giving this man way too much credit.
I think
no, I don't think that. Yeah,
like I don't think he's that calculated. I think he's sort of goes from moment to moment largely.
No, I don't think he's calculated. I think he just overthinks. Right.
Yes.
Like so there's a difference, right? Like like calculated would be someone like he said like he's not in control. Right? Someone who's in control is calculated, right? And he's not calculated. He's trying to play like, he's trying to round everyone up.
But Foster, I think that Liz coming to Final Tribal and saying, I've been straightforward with what my game is. I don't really need the money, but I've played the best game here. And here's the A, B, and C why. I've been fairly consistent in terms of what I wanted. All right. I laid low for a majority of the game, but then not even majority of the game, up to a point of the game, and then I start to take, the game into my own hands, right? And I got Tevin out. Tevin started saying that he was saying that he did the soda vote, right? I wanted soda gone from the get-go. I wanted Tevin gone, and who was gone? Tevin was gone.
Let's just
right?
watch the replay here on how fast these two go out in this challenge.
20 seconds.
Do they? Okay, they must not have to climb their way up there to start, right? So how are they getting up on these poles?
I thought about it, Dave. I thought about it. I think what they must do is they have like 9 ladders, right?
Or scaffold.
And
or a scaffold.
No, because here's the thing. I think that because they have to take into account like what are they going to hold on? Are they going to sit on the top? Right? Like I don't know how are they going to because they're going to show them at the start of the challenge till the end, right? So they're not going to waste that time at the beginning before that, like for whatever time that is, to get from the ladder or whatever they're getting to that position, right? To get I think this is my theory is they have 9 ladders, 9 people at the same time. They pull the ladders and they run out of the shot and they start the filming.
How many people are in this challenge? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 people in this challenge.
10. Okay, sorry, 10
Your
people.
theory falls apart completely.
Your theory falls apart on this.
There's not enough ladders.
I could buy 9 ladders, but 10 ladders, Foster?
I wasn't calculated enough, Dave.
I feel like Jaemeel might be correct, and there's some kind of maybe there's some kind of like a big scaffold or some kind of a platform that they're able to step off on because they have to make it fair, right? Because like Hunter could get up there in 10 seconds, but like for somebody like Liz, it might take her a while to get up there, and it's not really fair at that point. So, excuse me, I need to cough.
I think they're wasting time if they're doing that, though.
Excuse me.
They can just roll it in and out of shot.
okay, the reason I bring this up is because it seemed like in the case of Q and Liz, that once they got up there, it was like, oh my god, I can't do this, right? So there,
Done.
and I'm, it might have, excuse me, even if they had to take away 10 ladders very quickly, like this, I think we were told 19 seconds for these two.
Look, I just feel at the end of the day, like, does it really matter? There's more pressing
No,
information that I want to
it
know. Like,
matters.
Foster, what did you have a pizza pop issue, and that's why you were delayed coming in? I didn't forget about that.
No. I don't have any right now.
Oh, okay. I'll let it slide this time, but
It's a snacker once in a while, but no, not tonight.
okay.
Do you think either one of you could last more than
20 seconds?
2 minutes? Tells me 2 minutes.
Okay, I'll tell you how this works. You have to win this challenge. I think Hunter actually put it in a way that I thought was really interesting today. He's like, I have a few rotations. I don't think you can hold just one position forever. I think you have to switch between a couple, but primarily, I think the one that works is sort of wrapping your arms and your legs around this post and being able to sort of lean back and not put as much pressure down on your feet. And because I know there are these footholds, and I think you have to use that sort of in rotation, because you'll get too stiff if you try to hold on one position. But trying to actually use the footholds for the whole time is probably impractical unless you're someone like Venus, who happens to have incredibly small feet. And it kind of worked for her in this challenge. If she had won this, probably the same result having it voted out, but it would have been kind of cool to see her win this and maybe like them have to go, well, is Venus a threat now, like to win?
No, this was just the type of challenge that she would be in line to win. Just like how Charlie, being not necessarily the largest person, he has a good balance of, like, in terms of his weight, in terms of his size, works out well. He's not necessarily weak, but he's not bulky. He's streamlined, right?
Well, Hunter is bulkier. Like Hunter had more weight to
He's
hold
wicked
up there.
strong though.
Yeah. Tevin thought he was going to win this whole thing.
He got fatigued. He didn't have the endurance to handle such a thing.
Right. He wasn't focused.
That too. He was a little bit too high in his own supply.
Right.
So Foster, did this challenge rock?
Yeah, it rocked, and the only reason it rocked is because it's a classic.
Yeah.
Like it's not that it's like reflective of like the difficulty or the type of challenge. It's just I always like a classic. I like when they bring things back that have proven to work before.
I'll agree.
This one is really just like always a classic. I think it's good for the first individual immunity that's sort of like across the board, no gender breakdowns, no smaller tribals and whatever. This is just a good old fashioned immunity. And I kind of want to get to, like, I guess the end of it here, which is Hunter ends up winning, right? Oh, and guys, we have to can we talk about his him going like
look at Q. Q just look at Q's reaction. He just has his hand, his fist. Look at that. He's like, damn, man.
Yeah, he's just like, I'll never beat this guy in a challenge. I think it's partly what he's thinking.
Chance.
Right?
And then he had that same reaction when they came back from the challenge. Is like, how am we gonna beat Tarzan in this challenge, climbing up on trees to hide and seek?
Yeah, like, well, okay, and remember, Hunter has an immunity idol that nobody knows about. And he might win every individual immunity from here until the end. It's possible. I would not put it past this guy.
Yep.
So just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay. Do we not have Survivor Auction coming up? Ooh, Dave. My gosh. I think you might need a pizza pop.
I might need a pizza pop.
Yeah.
I'm just getting over something, and I feel like it's taking its revenge on me here. Excuse me. So
Survivor Auction. It should be around round here.
Yeah, I would have thought. Okay, so especially since they didn't get the food in this challenge, I think that the next one seems to be probably an auction, and actually, it might even be more interesting because they'll be even hungrier.
Not
So
even just hungrier. Like once again, I talked about this early in the season. Why I want to see an auction with this type of grouping is because as of right now, even more so than when I first brought this up, these people are too competitive and they don't trust they don't trust each other. Like you have pairs that trust each other. Like you have Kenzie who trusts Tiffany, and you have not Ben, but Charlie and Maria. But does Liz trust anyone? Does Venus trust anyone? At this point, Q's probably going to go into business for himself, right?
they're all going into business for themselves. Who's in who's really in an alliance that really matters anymore, and especially after this tribal tonight.
There's no 6.
There's no 6.
There's no 6.
What about Ben? Where does he fit into all this?
He's just on the baseline, just running through. Yeah.
Wasn't it a good thing that they didn't end up making this deal for the rice tonight? Isn't that a positive that no one trusts each other, therefore nope, even though obviously some of these people were not fit for this challenge and kind of knew it, that nobody took that deal. I'm glad that was sort of the result. Is
if you're honestly trying to play this game for to get to the end and you're using all the resources you have available, doesn't it kind of make sense to not give Liz food to eat so that you can guarantee that that's one less vote when she gets medevaced? That's one less vote you have to go through, right? And you can take out a stronger person or another person. You can get 2 for 1 in that instance, because if she ain't pooping and she ain't eating that much,
if she ain't pooping, then really, what is going to be her end game?
It's a ticking clock. I don't think she's gonna make it.
Right. Yeah. Foster, how do you feel about the fact that nobody took the rice and or they did have at least 4 people to make this deal tonight? Do you think that makes for a better season here? Or does it not?
I think it does, in the sense that they're going to be hungrier or hangrier. So you're going to see a lot more turmoil fights and nonsense.
Isn't it kind of surprising? There was absolutely no reward to this immunity, right? They get no rice. Does that not lead to what we end up getting here with Q saying, "I'm just ready to quit," or "I'm ready for these people to vote me out"? I feel like that was Q's hunger management coping. Maybe, but I think
he's a big dude at the same time.
Right. He probably burns a lot of calories a day. But on the same hand, I think he's going to go back to camp and spin it as, "No, I just did that because I wanted to throw off Tevin." I think that's what he's going to tell Tiffany. Right.
And do you think Tiffany's going to buy that?
No. Okay. I feel like this is a good segment just to kind of play the next time on. I know we're not quite to the end of the episode, but I just want to show that beginning part, especially because Tiffany goes at Q here.
Why wouldn't you give me a heads up? Are you stupid? Are you dumb?
Next time on Survivor.
I'm mad. Everybody's turning on everyone. I need her gone.
This game's flipped on its head.
These bumbling buffoons, these 2 dumb meatheads. Spicy.
I'm gonna give them hell. They can cancel Christmas.
They can cancel Christmas, which that was the name of episode 6, right?
we're going deep into Q's lexicon. Look, what I said earlier about Tiffany, right? Her reaction is valid because what did she say? "Why did you talk to me?
Are you stupid? Are you stupid? What are you doing? Why wouldn't you give me a heads up?" And I think he kind of is, but
stupid.
Also, in some sense, I think how can you not see that, right? Even Venus is they're dum-dums. All these people are dum-dums, these dum-dum meatheads. We'll see if she's
obviously that scenario where she has Q and Hunter talking to her. you know what Q wants, which is we need to get rid of, you know, the people aren't playing that game. And Hunter's like, yeah, sure, right? Hunter's gonna go with Q because again I said he's his shield, right? His smokescreen. And Venus is like, I don't want to play this game because I don't win in this game, right? I'm not going to like help you two progress farther, and then for me to be taken out. I'm not beating either of them in fire, right? Like,
Right.
what cards do they have for Hunter or Q to feel that they can trust her, or vice versa? I should say that she can trust them.
Well, I agree that there's really no reason, like there every time they have a tribal, there's fewer reasons to trust anybody, and I think that's kind of what's making it an interesting chaotic season. Can we also talk about, like, okay, there was a lot of scrambling, of course, after the immunities won by Hunter, and then who they're going to vote out, and it's going to be Tiffany, but then it's going to be Tevin because that's who Liz wants out. And then that eventually gets back to Hunter because they were going to leave Hunter and Tevin out of the vote. But then eventually Q tells this to Hunter, which causes like this whole other group to form who are trying to figure out what to do, which is like Hunter and Charlie and Liz and whoever. But then on the other hand, you got Venus and Kenzie and Ben and somebody else, I think. And like they're left out of this conversation about who they're going to vote out. And then Venus just says, I'm going over there. I don't care. Right? Like, this was a moment. Oh yeah, I guess Charlie was over there with Maria, is part of that thing, and she's just like, I'm going to break it up because there's only a few. Like, they're going to travel soon. Here comes Venus.
And Q keeps pointing to the other group, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's so dumb.
He's like pointing at them. We're gonna vote one of them out, right? And then like, if looks get killed, this look that Liz gives to Venus, just like, hey, I love you and everything, but I need to talk to them right now without you. Like, I'm not even gonna pretend. We weren't even talking about who we're voting out, which, she's not even gonna go with that pretense here. She's like, no, I need to have this conversation and you can't be here. And then so Venus says, fine, but can you break it up because other people want to have conversations? Is that a reasonable request here by Venus? Or
I wanted Venus to just sit down there and everyone had to leave.
Yeah. Or she just followed them around,
Yeah.
And they say, can't we just vote her out? She only got 2 votes tonight. And those came from Hunter and Tevin.
Q. Oh no, it was Hunter and Tevin.
No, yeah, Q voted with the majority after all of that.
Yeah.
So dumb. Right? Because they were going to get Tiffany out, and he's mad that they were going to get Tiffany out. This conversation probably was one of the last ones right before the tribal, and clearly it didn't end the way Q wanted it to, or it wasn't like sort of left because maybe he wanted Tiffany out, and then that's ultimately what he tells Tiffany, that he was, I'm trying to protect you,
But isn't the understanding that, hey, why don't we talk to Tevin? Like, okay, maybe if my math ain't mathin'. So if it's Q, Maria, Charlie, Tevin, right? Tevin's extra vote, right?
Yeah, isn't that enough to get out? Who do they want to get out? Tiffany, right?
Or Venus or whomever.
And
right?
Q is telling them, oh, yeah, by the way, Tiffany has this idol, right?
And that scares Charlie off. Charlie and Maria off.
That scares her off, but she didn't play the idol tonight.
I know. He told her not to play it because she was thinking about it when they had a conversation during tribal, right?
Well, like, I think, like, on the part of Charlie and Maria, I think that's too timid of gameplay, quite frankly.
Really?
Really?
I think that after Q's outburst, it made the most sense to control the narrative. And the narrative is, hey, it looks like we're not voting out Tiffany, but there's enough blood in the water that I should go to Tiffany and talk to her about it. I'll give her the information about Q that damages their relationship, but at the same time, I've warned her and also made sure that she didn't use her idol, because if she saw how it was messed up, she probably would have played her idol.
Well, okay, this tribal council, I feel like we need to kind of, what are the highlights of this thing? The looks here that Q gets. Like, and nobody sees this coming.
Everyone's like, what is he? What is he doing?
What is he
Foster,
doing?
Foster, what is he doing?
Yeah, like, can we just talk? I need to get to this because this was something else. Is this not one for the record book? Like, you can't say this episode was boring in terms of how it played out, right? You just see the incredulous reactions all around, like, and everyone's like trying to. And Tevin, who I guess Tevin has no idea he's the target here. He has no idea he's going to be voted out. And then he's like, "Well, why would we want to convince Q to stay?" And I'm like. And why does the rest of the tribe not want to turn around and say, okay, let's just vote out Q? Whose game does that really mess up other than maybe Kenzie? Like,
and Hunter?
Does it really affect Hunter if they vote out Q? If they vote out Q over Tevin? Tevin is aligned with Hunter.
No, but
you mean they're doing it as because they can't vote out Hunter, voting out Tevin's the next best thing?
No, I'm saying from Hunter's perspective, why would he want Q gone? Why would he want Tevin gone? That's why he didn't.
Hunter clearly didn't want Tevin gone.
Yeah,
and Hunter got left out of this vote, which was kind of what they were saying anyway. Like, so ultimately, like it flips onto Tevin here near the end of like the day before they go to tribal. Hunter does get wind of it from Q, and Hunter does something to try to change it, but it doesn't really work at all. And ultimately, they still leave Hunter out of this vote. I think is kind of what happened, even though Q does this kind of wild stunt here at tribal council. With whatever the hell he was trying to do. We'll never really know because we're not inside his head, but it was pretty crazy unless he, admits to it. But even if he told me a story, I don't even know if I believe him. Like, he's kind of full of it.
If he told his groupings and say, hey, I'm going to throw off the other team by saying to vote me out. Right?
Yeah.
And then we're going to vote for Venus. I think people would have gone with it. It was only Liz that was the issue.
It was only Liz that was the issue. Yeah, well, like, why does everyone care what Liz wants to do? Why couldn't they just leave her out of this vote?
Because they wanted her as a swing vote.
Like, is there some part of the other group, like maybe that they're like, well, we didn't like the fact that Nami came into this merge with so many numbers, and now like back to back we've lost 2 Nami, right? So now like that whole dynamic is shifted.
Yeah.
And who are the remaining Namis? Liz, Venus, and Hunter, who clearly I don't think these 3 are ever going to work together. No, right? So they're a nothing thing. If you're Siga, if you are Maria and Charlie, who I think are kind of really running the show, I don't know how much Ben's playing into their plans anymore because Ben got left out of that last vote. So Ben seems to be on the bottom along with like maybe Kenzie and others, but on the other hand, they're not on the bottom like Venus is on the bottom where where no one cares.
Wouldn't it make more sense if Maria, Charlie, Hunter, and Ben aligned up?
Maybe.
Like,
okay. Yeah.
Because
okay, and
they seem the most like rational individuals in this game. And everyone else is just playing this crazy weird thing. I know Kenzie, but Kenzie's too aligned with Tiffany.
Yeah, I know I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I hate the fact that Jeff lets this kind of crazy little conference go on, for as long as it needs to, I guess, and there's no sort of like, hey, we're at tribal council. Hey, there's supposed to be a vote tonight. And yeah, I know Q threw everything off here, but like the fact that everyone can go off and have 10 million conversations in a few seconds and you can't follow it. It's boring to watch on TV. It's not exciting. It's it's the only thing it kind of is just sort of like a train wreck effect for me, and that's what it is. Like, so when they finally do get up to vote here, like Charlie is just so like whatever, I had to pull this clip because it was too good when he got up to vote. Just throws his head. It's more the facial expression than anything.
And then there's a couple more people that said this is the dumbest tribal council ever.
The dumbest tribal council ever.
Yeah,
I don't disagree. It was possibly one of them, and but then the vote ends up being kind of boring. I wish the result of this had been at least exciting, and I don't think it is.
Everyone's keeping their idols and the extra votes weren't used, and
Nothing happened. Yeah, because I guess they're too far away from the end game. I guess that we're only at 10. Like the fact I thought Tiffany should have played her idol. Like even though she didn't need to, I think like she had a serious chance of going out here, didn't she?
yeah, kind of technically.
Especially
But
after all
Charlie
this blew up.
reassured her. Charlie reassured her.
Charlie did,
Yeah.
But it seemed like Charlie was fine with getting rid of Tiffany.
Yeah, but once he saw things getting south, like you need to salvage what's going to happen. And do you tie your caboose to Q, or like you jump onto another train? And I honestly don't blame him for jumping to another train.
Yeah. Can we talk just a little bit more here about Tevin and the end of his game? Why didn't Tevin win this game? What did he do wrong? Where did he go wrong?
Hunter just shakes his head. He got a little bit too high on his supply, and he
high on his own supply.
Yeah, he lost the relationships that he was supposed to be building.
Yeah, let's hear his exit interview.
I was absolutely blindsided, which is actually kind of epic. I was a little bit confused tonight about Q's antics, but I am so happy at every single thing that I've done here. I have shown myself, and I am so thankful for the opportunity to do this thing that I've been watching since I was a little boy. It is a dream come true, and God is so good. Hananoniakanda.
Are you sad to see Tevin go out?
At this point, I don't care. Like it just came a point where it's like, okay, he was talking about how smart he was over Venus, right?
How much better he is than her. Yeah. Well, I did like in the episode how Liz was like, "Screw both of you. I've hated Venus from the beginning." Like it's all and Liz's ego is kind of I find her a compelling villain in some ways. It might be
but Tevin's boastfulness, like kind of armed Liz to get more involved.
Correct. Yes. So
he's the author of his own demise.
He is the author of his own demise. What do you think it's gonna be like here for Soda and Tevin in the jury together?
Well, he's absolutely going to poison Venus's Venus's win from last week. So that's out the window for Venus.
Right. So Venus is not going to be able to carry that narrative. Yeah, he'll if anything, even if it was true, I think Tevin would do his best to convince Soda it's not true, but it happens also to not be true. But it kind of is untrue because it's not really Tevin. According to Liz, in Liz's version of things, she was the mastermind to get out Soda and also to get out Tevin.
She didn't do anything. Like just because you say you want somebody out and you like in at the beginning and stuff, like she didn't have those conversations. Like from what we were shown, Tevin made an actual effort. Liz was sitting her ass on the beach saying like, "Yeah, I'm down." Like you're not putting in the effort. You're like just because you exclaim something, it's like calling shotgun. Just because you called it doesn't mean you get it.
Well, sometimes.
Well, technically,
Oh, sorry. The principle of shotgun, but a shotgun you actually get it when you do, So yes.
But what you're saying is accurate. Liz did not instigate Soda's departure, but I think Liz did see the different pieces in motion, and I think Tevin's situation is going to benefit someone like Maria, who was also a very important cog in the wheel spinning towards Soda's departure, right? Because Maria had a lot of power in that situation. She was going back and forth, and ultimately she decided to go with Tevin's plan, right?
Right.
Because Venus's plan was still was going back and forth, and other plans were in motion. But ultimately, it was Tevin and with Maria that kind of made that vote happen.
Yeah. Well, here, let me ask you, looking ahead, right? This next episode called Spicy Jeff, and we are down to our final 9 here. And was this a factor tonight? But it has worked out this way. Of our final 9, we have a complete balance. We have 3 original. What are the names of these tribes? We have 3 original Siga, we have 3 original Yanu, and 3 original Nami.
Nami, yeah.
Right? All together here, so That's kind of neat. This, like if we just look at the Yanu three, like Kenzie, Q, and Tiffany, what a journey these three have now been on together. Of course, the Sega three are less of a three, which you have Maria and Charlie, who are kind of a duo, but Ben's kind of a, I don't know how much he really is loyal to the other two members of his group, or how loyal they are to him. And then, as we talked about earlier, like this Nami tribe with Hunter, Liz, and Venus, forget it. Like they're not going to work. So I feel like this Yanu 3 could be running the whole show if Q wasn't such an erratic player. I think like poor Kenzie and Tiffany, they're like, if Q was just like kind of more level-headed, a little more calm, was willing to take more direction and advice, they would be well set up to win this game, one of them.
But if you're Siga and Nami and Siga, right?
Yeah.
The six of them, wouldn't you pair up to get rid of Q and company?
Theoretically,
you shoot the hostage, right? If they're the strongest alliance, right?
Yes,
technically still in the game.
Yeah, you're still
like
2/3 against their third. But but that can't happen because Nami is not a third that will work together, even if it's in their own self-interest. Like, I don't think Venus can be rallied. I don't really like Hunter. Yeah, sure, he could be brought into a group, and then Liz, I don't know. She's too much of a wild card, I think, right now.
But
Maybe.
if you were really a good player, which I don't know about these people,
here.
It seemed like it was Liz or Venus's idea to get rid of Q, right?
Yeah.
You have what 5 out of your 6 voting against the other 4, which would be the Q, Kenzie, and Tiffany and Hunter, practically, right? You still could rule the day,
right? Well, okay, like what would be your prediction for this next vote? Who's like the most likely target of these final 9 to go next? Like Hunter, I agree with you, is the biggest target, but let's say he's immune again. Like,
he's either going to win the challenge or he's going to use his idol, and then with the way this dude is playing, he's going to find another idol like the next.
Oh yeah,
day.
probably. So you'd be okay with him playing his idol at 8?
I think he can win it back. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He can either win. He you're gonna have to use 2 lives to get rid of him, because you have to make sure he doesn't win immunity, and you make sure that he doesn't have another idol somewhere.
Right. But do you think, okay, like let's say Hunter is vulnerable next tribal, like I agree with you, he should play his idol. He could probably find a new one. But do you think that's actually what will happen? Because I think there's going to be a hesitancy to actually play it unless he's sure he has to.
I think he's winning immunity next week.
I think you're right.
I think it's going to be auction, and he's going to try the worst thing that they could possibly have that gives an advantage, right? Because he's practiced, and he will then kill the challenge with the advantage that he's received, and it will be straightforward in terms of, hey, he's not an option. Everyone's going to focus on everyone else. And then 7, he's going to use his idol. And then he has 6 to either.
And then he'll win at final 6, and then he only has to get to 5, right? And then you're in a fire making like one step after that. Foster, do you have a take on Hunter? Like, is if he is vulnerable next tribal, probably won't be. Should he play his idol, and will he play his idol if he has to? Without like a good reason.
It's at this point like. Common sense would dictate he's gonna have to play his idol, because he's just too good. He sticks out too much, and you got to give credit to these players somehow. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't think they're gonna overlook that, like going down the stretch.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Foster, but maybe you're just thinking that because you have Charlie in this draft, and you feel like Charlie is your ticket to a win.
Charlie's playing very well. I absolutely
I
think
agree.
that Charlie's like top.
Charlie's a contender. Guys, I have 2 out of a 9 shot to win this. I have Venus and Maria.
Maria, yes. Venus.
1 of 9.
I have really 1 of 9, but technically I have a 2 of 9.
Okay, Dave.
Will Venus be a factor in this? Like, will her vote matter? Will she strategically matter this season? I
As
agree
a
with you.
jury vote.
As a jury vote? Is she going to be voted out, or does she go to final 3? Because, like, why vote her out?
Actually, the peak. Actually, I think the funniest conclusion would be for her to make final 3, have a huge speech prepared and say all these things or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Get 0 votes and then see the look on her face.
I think that's likely. I think there's a good chance she does. That could happen here. But you never know. Crazier things have happened. Okay. Amanda was the one who lost Tevin tonight. She also has Liz. So I don't think Liz is winning, probably, unless it's like a weird final 3. Tiffany,
it seemed like a Gabler win.
Yeah, Jane was not too happy that Tiffany's name was thrown out there tonight. Jane has Tiffany, and Jane is, I think Tiffany can win for sure.
But I absolutely agree with her because it doesn't make any sense. It absolutely doesn't make any sense.
Right. And Daryl has Q and Ben. He also has a 2 and 9 shot. But really, does he? Can Q win now?
No.
After this tonight, there's no way Q can win.
You cannot say you want people to vote you out twice. He is not Dr. Well. Okay? He is not Dr. Well.
Yeah. There's no way. Unless no, he can't sell that. He can't spin that. Okay. Well, guys, I think we've been in here an hour. I think we said what we can say about this episode, this result. I'm looking forward to Spicy Jeff. We're getting towards the end of this season. I think it's been an entertaining one and a memorable one, but maybe not for the right reasons. Okay, and we'll sign off tonight, and we'll catch up with you in the next episode. Did you know that we're part of a federation of podcasts?
Are we, Dave?
A united federation of podcasts, in fact, with all kinds of. You can go to our website ufpodcasts.com. And it's got all our affiliate podcasts. It's all our friends, and they're doing different shows. Like, hey, did you see this one where they talk about movies really in depth? That's with Jason and Steven.
Yeah, they were on tonight.
They were on tonight. We got the Live Long and Podcast, Star Trek podcast. You can check out. We have, where if you like Star Trek, check that one out. Trivial Debates, where we argue about different things.
Do we have a time machine for Trivial Debates as well?
Well, that's just the one I happen to have here.
Okay.
Here's Trivial Debates. Yeah, I should delete this. I should really delete this other one. Okay. And then Aiming on Track, my son, he does music reviews. We have the Hellbound, which is all about horror, and the X-Men one, X-rated, every Tuesday. Especially they're talking about the new X-Men 97 episodes coming out on Disney Plus right now. Oh yeah, and Jameel's rocking the shirt tonight. And Graphic Histories podcast, Andre Mayette, all kinds of amazing interviews, as well as Hold Up, which is a movie podcast by Devin and Murphy. So it's a little something for everybody out there, Anyway, well, with that said, guys, I think we'll sign off here for tonight. Thanks to Foster. Thanks to Jaemeel. Regrets from Jeff Mader. We couldn't fit him into the show tonight.
He's bartending tonight. I reached out to him. So maybe next week might be a Spicy Jeff episode.
Jeff has to be here for the Spicy Jeff thing, doesn't he? So
we'll see.
Okay. Well, thanks, guys. You have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Okay. And with that, we'll leave you with Charlie.